Hello, my dear friend. It's Wasim Akram Haldar. Today we are going to gather information briefly about the origin of English language and the foundation of our today's modern English language. The English language is a very influential language all over the world. Though the English language has reached at the top of its fame and glory, the English language is flexible language because it has the ability to use the words of other languages as if its own. Every language on earth is a medium of communication. Almost all languages have their root language. The English language has also its root language. The Germanic Anglo-Saxon language is the root language of English. Though this topic is somewhat controversial, we find a good amount of data about Anglo-Saxon language from St. Bede's Ecclesiastical History of English People. St. Bede's Ecclesiastical History of English People tells us that Britain is an island in the Atlantic, formerly called Albion, that lies to the northwest, facing the coasts of Germany, France, and Spain, which form the greatest part of Europe. The people of Britain, being altogether ignorant of the use of weapons, after the departure of a Roman ruler from Britain, the defense force of Britain became weak and vulnerable to many invaders. The British people suffered many years from the sudden invasions of two very savage nations from beyond the sea, the Scots from the west and the Picts from the north. These Picts and Scots were the savage nations. Then the nation of the Angles or Saxons being invited by the King Vortigern, who was a ruler of southeastern Britain. The Anglo-Saxons arrived in Britain with 3 ships of war and had a place in which to settle, assigned to them by the same king in the eastern part of the island, on the foundation of fighting to protect their country. At the same time, their real intentions were to conquer it, that means to take control of the country. As a result, they engaged with the enemy. The Angles obtained the victory. When the news of their success and the fertility of the country and the cowardice of the Britons reached their own home, a large group of ships was quickly sent over to bring a greater number of men, and these men, being added to the former army, made up an invisible force. The newcomers began to inhabit among Britons upon the condition that they should wage war against their enemies for the peace and security of the country, at the same time as the Britons agreed to furnish them with financial support and other supports. Those who came over were the 3 most powerful nations of Germany. They were Angles, Saxons, and Gers. The history of the English language actually started with the arrival of 3 Germanic tribes who attacked Britain during the 5th century AD. At that time, the people of Britain spoke in Old British language, that is a Celtic language. But most of the Celtic speakers were pushed west and north by the attackers, mainly into what is now called Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. The Angles came from Anglaland, and their language was called Anglisk, from which the word England and English are derived. My dear friends, you are aware that the English language of the Angles, the Saxons, or the Jutes was completely far from our today's modern English language. For many centuries, so many words from so many languages entered into English language. The countless words from Latin, Greek, Hebrew, Old Norse, science, technology, and so forth came into English. It is absolutely true that the total and collective result of the mixing of different languages laid the foundation of today's modern English language. Thanks for watching this video.